No, I said I wasn't gonna judge the show as a whole until the entire season came out. But I watched episode one, and to be honest, the show is extremely normal.
Bite down. Bite down.
Episode one starts off with some really cool character designs early into the show. She got the tripped out grape hoodie and mask. I mean, you really don't get more assassiny than this. And I don't even know what this kid is or what he's wearing, but it kind of reminds me of the Tuscan Raiders if they didn't live in the desert. Like they'd have more vibrant colors on their mask. So if I'm coming at this from the perspective of someone who's just watching the show, um, we're introduced to May and she walks in trying to start a fucking bar fight with a Jedi. Not the first time. But then, not even like 10 seconds later, it goes to the character Osha. And I'm sitting here thinking, what the fuck? Like, is this a past, present thing? Is this like a dream? We later find out that they're twins, but that whole like 5 minute sequence was really confusing. Now, the beginning of Osha's character introduction actually kind of reminds me of Phantom Menace. A bunch of selfish, prideful, cowardly Nemodians all on a ship, dressed all extravagantly and barking out orders, but as soon as they meet any type of resistance with anyone that is minorly more powerful than them, they'll do whatever it is to guarantee their own personal safety. So we see that Osha is a mechanic, and that seems to be like a running theme with any former Jedi. I don't know why, but they always get into the trades business. They're always like a mechanic or something. This was a scene that was sparking controversy on Twitter. It's like a little campfire on deck, and people are judging it, saying, that's not how fire works on space. I get it. There can't be fire in space without a constant oxygen source. But were we really keeping that same energy when in the 70s and 80s there was literally TIE fighters screaming through space like a bunch of dying goats? No one ever had a problem with sounds in space. So why are we acting like scientists right now? So why are we being crybabies about this? I mean, I think the more important part to focus on is the fact that she's having literal flashbacks and PTSD looking into this fire, and instead we're like judging the science of a fucking sci-fi film. Like you're missing the whole point of the scene. Now we're introduced to Jedi Master Soul, and I kind of find this scene a little funny to me personally. It's like he's questioning a bunch of these kids. He's like, close your eyes. What do you sense in the Force? They're like, I see light. I see peace. I see freedom. And one kid is like, I see fire that consumes everything. So I know Soul was thinking, yeah, I need to keep an eye on this kid. But going on to Osha's escape, if someone is accused of killing a Jedi Master, you would think they would be transported with better security than just a couple of robots. I mean, she could have used the Force to escape, and none of them could stop her because it's just a bunch of cheap robots. But we later do find out that her connection to the Force is stricken. Uh, what is it? Like she's been away from the temple for 16 years. We know that the Force is somewhat similar to muscle. If you don't constantly use it and improve it, then it kind of diminishes. It's really reminiscent of that Obi-Wan scene. But I think him being away for less time and just being more powerful, he was able to pick up on the Force more faster. Now, this guy has a one mind track. You can tell he's one of those Jedi that will not question anything. Like the first time we see him meeting Osha, he's all buddy buddy in the beginning, and the second time he meets Osha, he busts out with that NPC ass response, freeze in the name of the Jedi Order. But I think something tells me that he was a trickster as a youngling, just based off the way that Osha interacts with him in the beginning. but now he seems all uptight, like he has a fucking lightsaber handle up his ass. And I liked how they ended off this episode like, oh shit, there's a Sith behind this. Who is this person? This person teaching her, manipulating her. Like we don't really know anything about this the Sith. All we saw was the red lightsaber. Now, it's hard to judge whole shows off of a single episode. This is a decent episode for the episode one. We kind of got a little bit of background on Osha and her connection with some of the Jedi Order. I didn't really get the point of her escaping prison, and then like 10 minutes later, she ends up right back into the Jedi's hands. Like I didn't really get that, other than her having the vision. Like that was somewhat of a waste of time. Like I already said, the sister thing was a little bit weird, hard to track with in the beginning, but you catch up to that. There is one fight scene with May and that Jedi Master, which is pretty cool. I mean, we've seen a bunch of fight scenes with Jedi Master and force sensitive assassins. We see a bunch of those. So I don't even get what the clapback behind that was. I think one thing that I see looking back on it now, I think the whole fight and ending was able to portray what an acolyte would look like. Because you have to remember, an acolyte is like a very beginner apprentice to a Sith master. So she's constantly getting thrown around by the Jedi Master for majority of the battle, and then in the end, she wasn't even able to kill the two witnesses, the bartender and the bartender's little child. So it kind of shows that inexperience and lacking in that Sith brutality type of mindset that anybody can catch a lightsaber to the face, no witnesses type of mindset that she clearly doesn't have. I think they portrayed what an acolyte is like pretty accurately.